Today on the show, we'll be recapping week 2, going over some waiver wires really quick, even though that's already going to be passed by the time everybody sees this. And we're going to go ahead and talk about the upcoming week. So, Scott, let's get to it.
Welcome to the JSD Fantasy Football Podcast with your boy, Scott Papa Fox Jackson, my guy, Mr. Prestige John Evans, and the one and only bearded warrior, Big Dale Gibson. And we are JSD. Welcome to the pod, y'all.
All right. Welcome to JSD Fantasy. I'm John.
I'm Scott.
And there is no Dale tonight.
Night. Father duty call.
Father duty calls. So, all right. Real quick, we're just going to kind of touch base with everyone and go over some week 1 stuff or week 2 stuff. We're already 2 in. So we'll go over that and then we'll move forward with the others. So, Scott, what do you got?
Injuries. The injury bug hit last week. Essentially, it hit week 1, but it really hit hard last week. Key injuries, obviously, we have Cooper Kupp. That was a tough one. I know a lot of people were hurt by that. We had some last-minute scratches as well. I know it was A.J. Brown, Evan Ingram. That hit me personally. It was A.J. Brown, Evan Ingram. I know we also had Isaiah Pacheco after the game. He is out for 6 to 8 weeks. And the thing about the injuries as well, it's not like it's just slight injuries. It seems like these are half season, at least 4 to 4 weeks on the IR injuries, and it's hitting people hard, man.
Right. So we're looking at, we've got Tua that was just announced today that he'll be placed on IR, which is probably for the best, just for his health and well-being. We've got Joe Mixon. We have Deebo Samuel with a calf strain that should keep him out at least a couple of weeks. We've got, it just seems like everybody's dropping like flies. And, like the main thing is, what do you think is causing all these injuries? Like, is it lack of preseason games? Is it lack of practice over the summer? Is it just bad luck?
Honestly, I'd say it's a combination of all three. I personally think it has a lot to do with the preseason. Not really playing the starters in the preseason. I was actually really surprised because I'm used to seeing starters in the preseason, at least for a couple drives. Seems like this preseason, no starters really involved. They played maybe 2 drives total all preseason. And I think it's really starting to affect people. It has to do with production. Some people are just now knocking the rust off. Other people are getting injured. It's a problem, man.
Nope, I agree. I think at least play a set of downs, play some drives. That's your way to ease into the season. I mean, I know players are practicing all day, a few times a week at least, leading up to it. But we want to get ready for the season. So I think that is key. But hindsight's 2020. There's no use of crying about it now. So moving forward.
Sir, on another note, the rookies have arrived.
It's about time.
Marvin Harrison Jr. and Malik Neighbors. Those are the top 2 rookies I think that people are really waiting to see something from. Caleb Williams, I put like this, the rookie receivers. The rookie quarterbacks are still trying to catch up a little bit, but the rookie receivers, they said we're here and we're not bust. They said put some respect on it.
Yeah, and I think Jaden Daniels isn't really he's not struggling like Caleb Williams is. Caleb Williams doesn't have an O-line to save him. That game against the Texans the other night, he just looked like he couldn't get the ball out. His only option was to throw it in the backfield, and that did them no favors.
Yeah.
They've got to do something to give him time to make a decision. Otherwise, personally, that one hits me because I was very high on Caleb Williams, Rome Odunze, that stack, just because of what we saw in the preseason. And I don't know what happened. Oh, wait. They weren't playing their starters. That's what it is. So here we are, full circle back to what we were talking about before. I think it is. It's a problem, and it's going to affect clubs with not knowing what they're working with until it's too late, and then you have key players that are going down. So
exactly.
yeah. So I think with the rookies showing up, and then we've got all the injuries. So with that behind us, what are we looking forward to this week, Scott?
Oh, we are looking forward to the bounce backs. I think this is the week that people really bounce back. People knocked off the rust. People are ready to really get in. Or put like this, right? You can't get in football shape without playing football,
I
right?
agree.
So I feel like football has happened. People are really getting into it, and a lot of people have something to prove now. So I think week 3 we're going to see a lot more production.
Yeah, I'm hoping that a lot of people are finally catching their groove. Getting into the swing of things. I think a couple of big questions, though, are some of these teams that are actually, are they legit, or is it what we already knew? I think you've got the Saints that are kind of really surprising a lot of people. And is it just situational? I mean, they put a beating on Dallas last week.
Well, that's what I'd say, right? Is their first game was against the Panthers?
Well, that was kind of an easy gimme.
That's a gimme, right? Everybody beats on the Panthers,
Yeah.
right? No offense to the Panthers.
Yeah.
Now, Dallas, that was surprising. Like, that's supposed to be one of the juggernauts, amazing defense, amazing offense. Were they at home? Were they in Dallas for that one as well?
You know what? I think it was. It was at AT&T Stadium, yes.
Yes, sir. That's even more surprising because the Cowboys don't lose at home. So the Saints may be real, man. Hey, I put it like this. If Derek Carr keeps on this track, he may be in MVP conversations, especially with all the quarterback injuries.
No. I think he's got a couple other contenders to go against, too. Sam Darnold showed up.
Ooh.
So
Situation.
But that's going back to recapping. We're looking at forward motion here. So what do you think about CJ, or not CJ Stroud, Bryce Young getting benched for Andy Dalton?
It's tough, man. That's a tough situation. Honestly, I don't feel like he got a fair shake. I feel like they should have given him some more time and some more patience. But as we all know, that owner, I think he just wants to have some relevance, right? I don't think he's actually trying to field a good football team. I think he's trying to have a good product and get a return on his investment.
Well, that's one way to look at it. I slightly disagree. He's in year 2. He hasn't really made any kind of improvements. I mean, I think we're going to see a lot of, let's say, breakout games for a lot of players on Carolina's offense with Andy Dalton under center. So I think you're going to see some Adam Thielen because Adam Thielen's always there. Xavier Legette. Is that how you say his name?
Xavier Legette.
Legette. All right. So I think this is going to be his homecoming game. This is going to be him breaking out and shining. And yeah, I'd like to see that happen for him. And have we heard anything on Brooks getting into the mix? Because
I know he's supposed to be out. They're saying he's probably going to be out till realistically week 6 or 8, like 6 to 8.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, but if their offense is humming, then Chuba Hubbard can go ahead and get some carries and stuff like that. But I think they're gonna have to play what's going to be the most promising for them. Obviously, they are playing against the Raiders, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that's a mean defense, man. That's going to be tough. And yeah, they're probably going to end up having to throw the ball a lot. They're probably going to be playing catch up. I think Brock Bowers, another rookie he's been consistent from the beginning. So good for him. George Bulldog goes to the Raiders. Guy's a beast.
Yeah, he is, man. The talent is undeniable with him.
Yeah. So I think that against Carolina's defense, him and Devontae, hopefully we see a little bit more production out of both those running backs there. I mean, you know, it could be a pretty high scoring game, especially if Dalton gives them something to fight for. Because if it's just going to be a one sided game, then it's fantasy relevance isn't going to be there for a lot outside of the running backs, at least for the Raiders.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's the Red Rocket.
Yeah. So, but all right. Well, other than that, let's see.
Do you have any waiver wire pickups that you are targeting this week?
So obviously the big talk with Pacheco going down is all right. P. Ryan, Carson Steele, and then Kareem Hunt signing with the Chiefs.
Yes, sir.
So now he's not eligible to play with them, I think, for 3 to 4 weeks after being signed.
Oh, wow.
I do believe I heard that earlier. I hope I'm not wrong, but I think that's just a matter of something. You know what? Don't even quote me on that. I don't want to be on the record saying that.
Well, realistically, I think that Kareem Hunt is more of a depth piece because I remember we saw him, and he had a couple decent games with Cleveland last year, but it was mainly drone forward, right? So I think that if the Chiefs sign Kareem Hunt, it's more for depth. I personally think that Samaje P. Ryan is going to get a lot of the work because he'll be passing more. He's the receiving back, right? Unless Carson Steele has receiving chops and he starts stealing away those sections.
Well, Carson Steele is still listed as a fullback. That's exactly what he is. But when given the chance, he can make some progress. So yeah, I think you take a stab at either one of those. That's not bad. Personally, I think I'm targeting Xavier Legette. I think that's my go-to as far as he is available in a lot of leagues. And I think you take a shot on him. If Andy Dalton goes out there and he does the thing and he's a legit receiver, or he is a legit receiver. If he can get the ball to him, then he's going to prove to be a legitimate receiver, and really he could have a lot of value in fantasy. So that's personally the one I'm highest on, and I think we'll see what happens after this next week.
Most definitely. For me, I'm going on the tight end side of things. I'm actually targeting Hunter Henry.
Yep, there you go.
Hunter Henry, I remember last season, he was probably the most consistent thing for the Patriots. Running back again this year, same thing. I'm almost certain that he had the majority of the Patriots passing work last time. I know Jalen Polk had caught some passes, but essentially it was the ground game and Hunter Henry. So that's what I'm targeting.
Yeah, if it wasn't Ramondre Stevenson, then yeah, Hunter Henry all day.
Sure.
And when in doubt, it's they don't have the rookie out there yet, Drake May, but until they do, or even when they do, Hunter Henry is going to be the check down guy. He's going to get his target. So I think that's a solid move there at tight end. All right. So other than that, what else we got? I know you had a bunch of show notes.
Yes, sir. So I think that wraps up 2. Looking forward to week 3. So Thursday game, like we were just talking about, New England Patriots versus the New York Jets. Keep it real, not really excited for this game.
No.
Thursday games usually aren't the most exciting anyway. This is like way down on the list. I personally think it's gonna be a slugfest unless the Jets offense can just take advantage of the Pats, but they have a pretty decent defense. And unless the Patriots offense just decides to pick itself up, it's just gonna be a slow game, grinded out game.
Okay. And yeah, I think the Patriots defense has been kind of a surprise too this season. So I think it might be a slugfest to start, but Rodgers has a game under his belt now that he can feel good about. I think he's going to ride that momentum, that wave, and just prove that it wasn't just a one-off. First week out against the Niners D, that was a hard one. So you go week 2, you get you a win. All right, now we're going to look at this game and really see it's another primetime game. What are you going to do? And if you blow it out of the water and you kill it, then I think, who knows? They can get that ball, spread the ball around. They have plenty of receivers. They got Braylon Allen involved last week.
They sure did.
Yeah, so I think the only person they haven't got involved really is Mike Williams.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll
So,
see what happens.
but I'll tell you what, it's coming. I bet you it's coming.
Mike always has one or two great games every season, and then right after he gets injured. So,
Yep. Exactly what I was going to
say. So we'll see, man. I just say 2 players to watch in particular. I would say watch out for a Wilson game because he hasn't really had a great game yet. He's been decent, hasn't had a great game, so this could be the one. And then obviously Hunter Henry. Let's see what happens with that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, it is still football. So for a Thursday game, you're high on Hunter Henry, especially if you get him in some waivers tonight. And then, let's see Garrett Wilson go to the moon.
Yes, sir.
And then we go into the weekend games. Who's playing Sunday night?
Sunday night, that will be the Chiefs and the Falcons.
Now, that's really cool that you mentioned the Falcons because did we see Kirk Cousins or what?
Man, so I think that was his 9th fourth quarter game-winning drive.
Yeah.
Yep. And they had right before they went on the drive, they said, "This is Kirk Cousins' playing field. This is what he does best." And then what the hell did he do? He went out there and fucking won the game.
Hell yeah. It's almost like, all right, 2-minute drill. This is where we're going to get Kirk Cousins back.
He said, "Let's go." And he did it. I want to say he knocked off the rust with that one. Seems like he's ready to propel this Falcons offense. Darnell Mooney did not think he was going to be a factor like that. And was he a damn factor? He was definitely putting in work that game. I was actually really surprised how little Drake London seemed to be involved at first, but then game-winning touchdown, right back to it.
Right. No, I think they are trying to fill things out there. I think they were just a little bit more just kind of getting that chemistry right with the team. And I think maybe thinking got in the way,
Yeah.
When it came time to just do, and they did. They
goddamn did it. That is the offense that everybody's waiting to see, right?
Yep, I think so. I mean, I heard on a podcast earlier about how it looked like the Eagles defense had their helmets on backwards, the way that they were just letting that drive happen at the end.
Exactly.
And that's pretty much summing it up. And I don't know if you noticed, but they had Jason Kelsey in the booth there for a while.
I did.
It's a good thing he left before the end of the game.
I thought that was ironic too, right?
So, hopefully he was out there doing some, beer slamming, shotgun beers, something, taking his shirt off, just living his best life. That guy is just so likable.
Oh, he's living his best life right now.
Oh yeah.
Are the Falcons going to be able to put it on the Chiefs? That is the real question.
I would like to see it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie, I would love to see that. But I mean, this is where, all right, was that just a fluke?
Exactly. You guys knocked off the Eagles. Can you knock off the Chiefs next? So
yeah,
we'll see what happens with that one. So that is the Sunday primetime game. We start things off on Sunday with Broncos and the Bucks. Honestly, Bucks should knock that out. They should be able to get that done. I definitely see Evans having a nice bounce back game. Unless Patrick Surtain, he is for the Denver secondary, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so do you think Evans draws Surtain or is it Godwin?
Well, I mean, it depends on where they line him up. I think I think they'll cover Evans. I mean, he's the big threat. I know Godwin had the big game last week, but I mean, you have to cover Mike Evans.
He may not have a bounce back and may just be Godwin again, continue with that production.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how that one goes. That's for sure. And we'll see how. What was I going to say about this one? We'll see how involved McMillan.
Yes.
That's where I was going with that. And then with Rashad White, if he's still dealing with the injury, this is going to be the rookie's time to go with Bucky.
Bucky Irvin. Bucky has been chipping at those snaps. He's been chipping at the split, man. I think he's actually gonna start taking some work from Rashad White pretty soon.
Well, I think that's what they're aiming for. I mean, White's been getting it done, but it's just hasn't been the most efficient. So I think they're ready for that change of pace back, and that's why they drafted him. So, but for the Bucks' sake, that's going to be better on them. It's going to balance their team a little bit better, and definitely have fresh legs when you need it. So, especially when White's 100%.
Yes, sir.
So
I think the only other thing to watch for in this game is probably the Broncos backfield. Kind of see how that goes. See if Williams can keep trending up. See how Jaleel, how he is as the passing back. Just kind of see what happens with that. Bo Nix, I think she's gonna be another Bo Nix crash and burn this game. He hasn't been doing so hot so lately, so we'll see how that goes.
Well, we've seen some flashes from him here and there, but consistency is just not. It hasn't been there. It would like to see him catch a stride and get something going. It'd be fun.
We'll see. Next on the list, we have Texans versus the Vikings. So, is Justin Jefferson healthy?
That's the question.
That is the question.
So, if he's been managing it correctly, what was it? An ankle sprain?
No, so it was a thigh contusion. If I'm not mistaken, he caught a helmet to the thigh.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, there's so many injuries. I'm getting them all mixed up. So glad you got your notepad right there.
He says he's good to go. He says he's feeling good, but that's what they always say, right?
Yeah.
If he's out there, I want to see that JJ Darnold connection. See how that's going. See if they can keep that up. I know who was the rookie, Jalen Naylor.
Yes.
Yeah, he seems like he's gonna be nice. It's definitely if Addison's still out as well,
right.
He's gonna get a lot of targets, a lot of the work. Then I wanted to know, Texans, is Nico truly the alpha?
You know what? It looks like it. And
Guy.
You guys know that I've been so big on Tank Dell.
Yeah.
But Nico's hitting. Stephon Diggs, he's been serviceable, but he's just hasn't really been there. And Tank disappeared last game. So
yeah, he did.
I think it might be one of those things where you're dealing with game script and who's covering who, but I think Nico is your alpha. And and it's a slugfest. It's duking it out for number 2 between Diggs and Dell. So
Diggs winning the number 2 battle right now.
Yeah.
But Nico is that guy.
But at least Stroud has options. That's for sure. Except for what he's dealing with in his backfield. So
it seems like if Mixon doesn't play, Pierce is dealing with a hamstring. So it's probably Cam Akers next up.
Yeah. And we'll see how that goes.
Yes, sir.
I am undecided. I've heard a lot of noise about pick up Cam Akers. Dameon Pierce is hurt too, and well, I don't know if I want to do it.
I don't know if I want to go that far yet, right?
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens with Mixon. See how injured he really is, and if Akers is going to be the guy for the next couple weeks, and he shows up, may have to give it a try.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm betting on it being a nice passing game, and maybe we will see who the true alpha is on that team this week.
Yes, sir.
So,
all right. Next up, we have the Chargers versus the Steelers. biggest question is Quentin Johnston really here? Or was that just a fluke?
You know what? I mean, I'm not sure because this Chargers team looks like it wants to run.
Damn straight they do.
It seems like they just want to run, and they do. They have receivers, and if Quentin Johnson is really like here and not what we thought he was going to be last year, that's my big thing. So I don't think we've seen enough of it yet. I think we may find out when it comes to this game. But that Steelers defense, it's not an easy one.
No, sir.
When they went up against the Falcons, like they shut Kirk Cousins down, but again, he might have just it seemed every play seemed scary when Kirk Cousins was under center in that game. So
Right.
it's just I don't know. I guess we'll find out. I think they are going to rely heavily on the run game. Yeah, I mean
So we'll
that's
see if Dobbins can
yeah,
keep up efficiency. I do know, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure Bijan had a really, really good game actually against the Steelers. So maybe their run defense isn't all the way there. And if Dobbins can keep up the efficiency, that may propel the Chargers.
yeah, I think so.
On the Steelers side of things, can Fields build on this momentum? Because he hasn't been bad. He hasn't been great, but he hasn't been bad either. He's been decent enough.
He has the ability to. I mean, we've seen him, play very well, but it's always lacked consistency. So I think if he can really get it going, uh, Chargers defense, I mean, he's gonna have to throw the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he might get away with being able to scramble. He's got Joey Bosa, trying to get him every time. Like it's gonna be a game. I don't think you can rely on the running backs too much in that one. I'm sure they'll be serviceable to an extent, but it might be a lot of them helping block.
Some pass flat.
So he can get the ball out, But that could be a fun game to watch just for that.
I was
Just
just
to
gonna
see
say,
what Pickens can do, and then who else do they have as receivers in Pittsburgh? Is there anybody else? I think they just have one receiver.
yes, I mean, that's this what it seems like half the time, right?
Yeah.
Fryermuth, he may put in some work. I
Yeah,
think
Muth might get loose.
I think this is going to be a good prove game for both teams, right? Chargers are 2-0. The Steelers are 2-0 as well, right?
Did they win their last one?
They sure did against Denver.
Oh, yeah, then they are.
It wasn't a pretty game, but they pulled it out. So both teams are 2-0. Both teams were not expected to be 2-0. Definitely going to be a good game to see kind of what happens and kind of see where both these teams are truly at.
Yep.
All right. Eagles versus the Saints. I think
Okay.
this is gonna be a nice one.
So this is it. Are we gonna have the third Saints victory?
Are the Saints for real?
Yeah. I mean, they've shown it. Like, and are the Eagles gonna let a loss happen again?
That is the question, right? The Eagles are definitely gonna be looking to bounce back. They're definitely gonna have something to prove at the last game. I feel like they're gonna want to set an example with the Saints. And are the Saints real enough to fight past that and show, hey, we're really here and we're about to go 3-0?
Right. But are the Eagles gonna have AJ Brown back?
Ooh. If we're going based off of what AJ Brown said, no.
Yeah.
They-
So
That's gonna be a big factor.
maybe more Goddard. A lot of Devonta Smith. He was very involved against the Falcons. Lot of nice plays. Yeah. He'll definitely he'll definitely put up similar numbers.
Yes,
He's going to have to.
have to.
And Saquon is going to be Saquon.
I was going to say Saquon just got. He doesn't have those couple drops.
Yep, that's fine. I mean, like he's still Saquon. So
Saquon is Saquon.
and Jalen Hurts is still Jalen Hurts, and the tush push is still there. So I think they're looking to get right, and I think the Saints are out to prove something. So that is going to be a good game.
Good game. Definitely got to tune in for that one.
Yeah.
All right. Green Bay versus Tennessee. So we have Pollard taking full control of that backfield. I'm not sure how injured Tajay Spears is. I'm not even sure what he had. I think it was an ankle. We'll see how healthy he is, but regardless if he's out there or not, Pollard has a nice hold on that backfield.
Yeah. Even if Spears comes back, he's cleared, he's good to go. Pollard has that run game on lock. So,
guys, man, I kept saying it all off season. They did not pay that man to not let him control that backfield, or at least it was his backfield to lose, regardless of what the coaches said, right?
Yeah. So this is going to be a revenge game because Malik Willis was drafted by the Titans.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, so this should be fun. I think it's going to be a very run heavy game.
Oh, well, so that was going to be my question. Actually, is Love coming back for this game? Because I've heard reports that he's going to try.
No.
Do you think he's actually coming back?
No, I think if obviously you want Jordan Love back, but also do you want to risk him getting hurt again to the point where, okay, well now he's really got to be out. We need to put him on IR.
Yep, that's
Yeah, I don't think you want to do that. I think with the Titans, I think it's safe enough that you can get Willis out there to throw to your receivers and just concentrate on Josh Jacobs punching it.
Yep. Didn't Jacobs go for 30 touches, 150 yards last game?
I'll take your word for it.
I want to say it was something along those lines. So if they can continue with that, keep it on the ground, I think that's what they'll do.
Yeah, I just think I think they need to support him in the backfield to some extent. I think with Lloyd just went out on IR because yep, he's next up. But yeah, so they need to not run out of backs.
Right.
I think they need to start getting tight ends involved more.
Yeah.
Little dinks and dunks, stuff like that. Something that's not too much of a challenge. Get stuff thrown in the middle. Just keep it moving. Kind of mix it up, especially maybe if they could pound out some RPOs here and there, just so they can throw them off the scent that, hey, it's going to be a run.
We're running the ball.
Yeah, it's still going to go to Jacobs. It's just going to be an RPO.
Yes, sir.
But
that should be a good game to watch out for as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
I'm still highest on the Saints Eagles game though.
Oh, that I want to say that's probably right now. That's probably game of the week. Before getting games, that's probably one of the games of the week. Absolutely. Next up, we have the New York Giants versus the Browns.
All right, so next.
Ooh. I mean, how both those teams have been playing, probably so, right? Except for last game, Jones had enough production to keep New York off his back for a little bit. They didn't get the win, but showed some promise.
Well, they would have if Neighbors didn't drop that touchdown pass.
Yeah.
But that was also the, hey, look, Malik Neighbors is here game.
Yes, sir. Let everybody know I am truly meant to be here.
Yeah.
My biggest question is, can Watson continue to get back to decency? Not the level he was before, but decency. Serviceable quarterback.
I don't know, man. Honestly. I mean, this is his second year in Cleveland, right?
Yep.
He has not played good football.
to say the least.
He has not played the same as when he was in Houston.
Not even close, man.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't see it getting better. I see them going a couple more games and realizing that, and then maybe it's time to shelve them, But
It's tough
they've
to swallow.
invested so much.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough to swallow with that contract, man. Especially if he's not hurt. That's tough, man.
Yeah.
I guess the other part of that, the two-part question, right? If Watson can't get back to form, does Cooper continue to suffer? And what happens with Cooper?
Cooper will suffer. If he's not back to form, he will suffer without a different quarterback in that system. I think because he thrived under Flacco
Yes,
with
sir.
Watson out last year.
Mhm.
So, but I've also heard that when Watson was in Houston, he was allowed to play from the Clemson playbook. Like they basically allowed him to play like he did in college.
Oh,
And the Browns aren't having that.
nope.
Like, no, this is big boy school. You're here. This is what we're doing. I have a bold prediction. So
Let's hear it.
I think you get a trade for Watson. It'll be a trade that involves a reduction in salary, or at least a fair compensation for taking over that salary.
Mm.
And he gets traded to the Dolphins because they need a quarterback.
Oh, I could see that happening, actually.
And I think with Tyreek and Waddle as targets, it doesn't matter what playbook you're playing from.
That is true.
I mean,
now that would be NFL.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about salary caps in the NFL and how the money works, but if they could make that work, I could save the season for them, for the Dolphins.
Well, and this is where we go ahead and point out the fact that if Dale were here, he would tell us just how it does work. So, miss you, Dale.
I need you, man.
But anyway, that could be an entertaining thing if that were feasible. Again, we don't know that much about that. We'll get better.
Right.
But yeah, that could be fun.
Let's see what happens then, right?
Yeah.
All right. And then speaking of, well, not quite yet, but we'll get to the Dolphins and the Seahawks in a second. Next on the list is the Bears and the Colts. Oh, Caleb Williams.
I know. I was going to say the same thing.
Can he find his footing and truly support this wide receiver room?
No. So, I'll tell you why. The Colts have a good defense. They're not top 5 or anything like that, but they have a good defense.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Houston, also a good defense. Caleb Williams couldn't get a minute to throw the ball.
No breathing room.
None. They kept getting through. Like that O-line for Chicago is decimated.
Hot garbage.
Yeah. So I think if they can fix that, if they can get some rookies involved, if they can get anybody involved, anything, just give that man some time, he might actually be able to get it going. And if he does, you have Keenan Allen that's hurt. He might still be out. You've got DJ Moore that's just waiting to catch balls. And Rome Dunze is trying to get on the field even when he shouldn't yet.
Yeah.
And then poor Cole Kmet. Did you see that shot that he took? Like, was it him that last week that he got a pass from Caleb and just got whacked right away?
Just that. I didn't see that.
Yeah. I mean, it just, if it's the one I'm thinking of, it wasn't pretty.
Oh, man.
But yeah, I think if they can protect him, he might actually have a shot at being who they drafted.
Okay.
And who I drafted And who I drafted in my league.
Well, speaking of high draft picks, Anthony Richardson, can he improve in the passing game and actually elevate Michael Pittman?
I think this game you might see it, but the Bears defense, that is a good defense.
And I'm same thing. I was talking all off season. The bet, like that's the whole reason I was going late defense. Wasn't worried about drafting defense at all because more often than not, I could always snag the Chicago defense, and I was super high on them.
Well, that's a good call because they are showing up and showing out.
Yes, sir.
So I think Richardson has. I mean, he's obviously he's gifted with being able to sling that ball and run it as well. I think that they can keep they could probably keep the Bears on their toes as far as mixing up those combinations
True.
between running it, him scrambling himself, him handing it off to JT, or slinging that ball down the field and finding a receiver. This might be Pittman's get right game that we've been waiting to see.
That'd be nice to see, man.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be another proven game for a lot of people. So maybe a good one to keep an eye on as well.
Yep.
And next we have our beloved Dolphins. Oh, Miami. They're leaving a lot on the table with Tua out. Is this Dolphins offense going to turn into a dumpster fire? Or can Thompson keep it afloat enough to where they can figure out something else for quarterback or even just ride with Thompson until Tua comes back?
All right. So I think after what we saw when he went in the game last week, the answer is no. Even with the skill set of Tyreek and Waddle, it's going to be difficult. And they may have to suffer through a game or two until they can figure out the answer at quarterback. They did pick up
Huntley.
Huntley that used to back up Lamar Jackson and actually played in his stead when he was out last year and rocked it.
Yep.
If they can get him up to speed and get him out there, I mean, let this kid get a game, and if he can't do it, then bring Huntley out. I think we may be very surprised with the results. So,
question then: are we buying low on these Miami receivers, or sell while you can?
With the information out right now, maybe sell while you can, because this is just speculation. It'd be nice if that was the fairy tale end, you know?
Right.
It'd be nice if my whole Deshaun Watson to Miami scenario played out.
Amazing.
Or that would be a dumpster fire too. And nobody's happy. But right now, I don't have an answer for Miami for any piece except for Devon Achane.
He proved he's going to get his regardless.
Hold, buy him if you don't have him. And Jalen Wright is a good piece to have as well.
Absolutely.
Jeff Wilson's hurt. What's that?
Do we know what's going on with Mostert? Is he supposed to be coming back this week?
So his injury was chest, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And Jeff Wilson was also oblique.
Yep.
Same injury that Kenneth Walker has.
Yes, sir.
So you have two oblique injuries in this game if they come back from it.
True.
So both running backs, yeah. So we'll see. I mean, right now it looks like it might be the Achane and Wright show.
Yep.
So
we'll see what happens with that. And is Geno back to form enough to truly support JSN's breakout and also support Metcalf?
Give me 2 more games and I will have the definitive answer for you.
What's that?
Because I think week 1, All right, we're getting into it. Week 2, it's like, all right, here we go. And now I want to see consistency. Once I see 2 more weeks of the same results, then I will be completely in.
I mean, if there's any game for them to do it or for him to prove it, it's definitely this one.
Yeah, he's going to have enough. He's going to have enough pressure on him to still think and act quickly.
Yeah,
And with the talent in that receiving room, they're going to be able to make things happen. This is going to be JSN's like breakout year. He didn't do it last year. Tyler Lockett is kind of phasing himself out. I don't think he's really going to hold value much. He'll make it through this year. I'm not sure when his contract is over, but yeah, I think he's kind of like the Adam Thielen role.
yeah,
He's still there because is fairly.
veteran presence.
Yeah, and DK Metcalf is still the alpha because, I mean, look at that guy. He's ginormous and he's fast.
He's a beast.
Yeah, so no, I think he has the weapons to be a good quarterback again in that offense, and I think with the new coaching staff, it's going to be better than what it was for sure. It already started out that way.
Definitely proven to be better so far. So
Yeah.
Next, we have the Panthers versus the Raiders. I am truly excited for this game, if for no other reason than to see Devontae Adams finish as wide receiver 1 of the week.
Mm.
I
Well, he did.
Happen.
Well, he definitely has the ability to.
After the last game, Minshew, that I feel like he gained so much confidence from starting off the game kind of rough, getting that talk from Max Crosby, getting it done late in the game. I want to say he was 30 for 38 on completions. I'm pretty sure he's leading the NFL in completion percentage right now. Like I said, having a couple missteps, but bringing it back and closing out that game, I think they're ready to keep it moving. And this is a great game for them to keep the momentum going. Devontae, Brock Bowers, I'm making a bold prediction. Devontae Adams and Brock Bowers are prospectively in the week #1 in their positions.
I can see that. And you know how high I've been on Gardner Minshew since before the beginning of the season.
Yes, sir.
He is a gunslinger. He will sling that ball. But like you said, that confidence has to be there, and that's what he's been lacking. So, yeah, maybe that pep talk from Crosby is exactly what was needed.
Seems like it.
Yep.
And then on the other side, obviously, we have the Panthers. We'll see if Red Rocket can bring it out and get these guys back serviceable.
Yep. No, I think if I was right with my prediction at the beginning of the show, we might see some big things happen, or it just might be a different version of what we've been seeing the last couple of weeks and last season. So,
right. But this is definitely one of those games to watch. Definitely a lot that can happen with this one. Kind of show us some things that we need to know, right? So definitely on the list of games to watch. This one right here, Ravens versus Cowboys. This is definitely a prove it game, if no other one. Both teams with something to prove. The Ravens 0-2, not what people were expecting. I know Lamar is probably seething, just ready for the chance to prove everybody wrong, to show everybody like, hey, this is not what we are. I am supposed to be the MVP, because you know how it is, right? I know they said he is the first reigning MVP to lose the first 2 games since 2002.
wow.
Yeah, so on the wrong side of history with that one, right? Cowboys obviously getting their ass handed to them by the Saints at home at that. They definitely have something to prove. Micah Parsons was speaking on his podcast, and he just said that they just didn't bring it. They just didn't bring the energy. They just didn't. He said that they weren't bringing themselves up to the challenge, right? They underestimated the Saints. So I know this game, they're about to bring their A game. So this is going to be a good one, man. Big.
So is this, are they playing in Baltimore or is this in Dallas?
I want to say this is in Dallas, if I'm not mistaken. I can actually.
So the Cowboys didn't have to travel. They played at home last week. They're going to be at home this week. They should be primed to get right on this one.
They are.
But if they cause the Ravens to lose again and be 0-3, that's a recipe for a meltdown on that team.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So, that one will be a slugfest because you have two top defenses and offenses going at it. It's going to be a game. So, definitely want to watch that one. Is that a Sunday afternoon game?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So, I'll be at work, but I will have a couple of these choice games in my ear while I'm working and watching when I can.
Definitely.
So,
this is our game right here, 49ers versus.
All right. So,
game.
We've got Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, out with injury. The Rams' offensive line has lost some key players, so they're weak up front. A lot of waivers going in for. What's that?
Are they supposed to be getting a couple guys back though?
Okay, well, for their sake, I hope so. But you're going to have a lot. If that's the case, you have Stafford that's not going to have as much time to process and get his progressions. Then on the other side of the ball, obviously CMC IR, Deebo Samuel out for at least 2 weeks with a calf strain. The guys were having trouble staying hydrated last week in Minnesota. Back to California. All right. Yeah. Drink your Gatorades, boys.
Yeah.
But, I mean, obviously the Niners want to get right because they just got bested again by the Vikings. This happened last year on Monday Night Football. So it's happened again. Yeah, they want to get right. But they got to do it without Deebo. They got to do it without CMC. Jordan Mason has been up to the task, filling in that spot. Juwan Jennings,
nice.
He's stepping up. Boy, if only Ricky Pearsall was ready to go. I mean, he's ready to go, but he's got to wait. I mean, that guy was ready to go once he got out of the hospital. He was back on the practice field with those guys.
See that, man?
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, boy, he seems like he's going to be a nice piece for us, right?
Yeah.
It just seems like, in my opinion, it's going to be a Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle game.
Most definitely. And Mason. You're going to have those three. It's going to go through those, but don't be surprised if you see more Juwan Jennings than you do Kittle. Just for the fact that you're going to have Ayuk, spread the field. You're going to have Kittle probably doing a lot of what Kittle does. It's either blocking or slanting in the middle and getting those catches and getting those yak.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Jennings has been explosive. He's been able to get the ball, and
proved able to get the ball.
Yeah, he may not get a lot of yards after the catch, but he can get where the ball can get the yards.
Exactly.
So I think you've got that. And Brock, he's just he just needs to focus in, and I think they'll be fine. But also, you got Aaron Donald. Can't talk tonight. You've got the Rams defense to deal with, so you're gonna, it should be a good game. I'm just hoping that the Niners win it, just because that one hurt last week.
Yeah, we need that win, man. Yeah. Last question regarding this one: are we worried about Kyren Williams?
Kind of worried about him because he needs to not be a bell cow back. He needs to He needs to be able to split carries with Corum. But he will be the majority runner out of that backfield. He'll be the Tony Pollard in that backfield.
Yeah, buddy.
But you can worry about it just for the fact that kind of high usage increases the chance of him getting hurt. But that's the only worry I have on Kyron Williams. His production will be there. He's just going to keep on pounding and getting the ball down the field and getting as many points as he can. So,
most definitely. So, I guess last question regarding that, right? Are we trying to? Is there even a buy low opportunity on Kyron, or are we holding, or are we selling when we can?
I'd say you hold. I don't think you can buy low because he's already proven to be an exceptional back. If you can buy low, good for you. But I'm holding or selling extremely high. If you're in need of a different position, and you can afford to lose him and out of your running back room. I think, until proven otherwise, keep him on your roster.
Most have.
So the other thing about the Rams, Colby Parkinson. So I think the hype was there.
He's had some flashes.
The production didn't show up in the form of points last week. I think this game you're going to be able to get some. I think he'll be able to find some spots and get the ball and get a few yards here and there and probably some end zone looks and try to avoid the wrath of Fred Warner and get it done. But I think he'll have a decent game this week, even if it is against the Niners secondary.
All right. Something else to watch out for. And our last Sunday game, well, won't be the last Sunday game, but last for us to talk about Lions and the Cardinals. So this is going to be
All right.
Another good one, man. Will Sam Laporta finally have a good game?
He's due. I mean, he's obviously a very good tight end.
Yes,
but
off a cliff in his second year, right?
This will be the game that he gets really big. But also, it's going to be a game for Amon-Ra if he's healthy and playing, and for Jameson Williams, because the Cardinals' defense is pretty straight trash. So, but even though their defense is trash, their offense is fire. They are on fire.
So when I actually just really quickly look up the line projected score for that game. Let's see. I can pull that up really quickly. Because I almost want to say that this is going to be one of the highest scoring slated games. Yes. So the total right now over under is 52.5.
I'm going to take the over.
Definitely taking the over.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if that broke 60 points.
I would not be surprised at all. If you saw the Cardinals last week, they were getting to it. Even the Lions, they were facing the Buccaneers, but it seemed like they were kind of getting back to their groove, right? Towards the game.
I'm sorry, what perfect QB passer rating? What? Who? Kyler Murray?
Kyler, yes, sir.
I am so glad I have so much Kyler Murray in all my leagues. So many leagues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the move. And then Marvin Harrison Jr. breaking loose. Get ready to see more of that. It is going to be a slugfest there. Are they playing in the Dome in Detroit?
No, I want to say they're actually playing in Arizona.
State Farm Stadium. Here we go. Yeah, I think it's gonna be that one's gonna be a fun one.
It's gonna be a fun game.
Yeah,
Definitely a lot to happen with this one.
And if the Cardinals were smart, they would make sure James Conner doesn't get hurt.
Exactly.
Mix in some Trey Benson. Let's keep it moving. Keep everybody alive.
Right. So yeah, that's definitely going to be definitely another one to put on the watch list, right?
Yeah.
We already covered the Chiefs, Falcons. Then we have Monday. We have the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Buffalo Bills. We seeing a new look offense that requires less of Josh Allen. Finally,
Do you think it's going to stick?
I am not sure. From what we've seen, if they can keep this run-heavy offense going, it just might.
I think it all depends on his hand, his non-throwing hand that he has, the taped fingers, whatever's going on with that.
Mm,
Once that is better, then I think you're going to have it's going to go back to an even split between the run and the pass.
okay. So
So
you think this run-heavy offense to start is more injury related to Josh Allen?
I'm sure part of it's game script, but I think a lot of it probably is part of self-preservation. Because a lot of those looks that James Cook got were Josh Allen runs. Let's be honest. He would have taken the ball and he would have ran and he would have, wrist injury.
You don't think he's learning his lesson?
Come on, man. It's like the kid with the stick, right? He's waving around. He hits himself in the face with it. It's like, ow, and then he goes back to waving the stick around.
Yeah.
So no, I think he may be a little bit more cautious about it, but he's like, well, I got to do this.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be, and it'll be fine because I think he might actually find a good balance when it comes to that.
Okay.
To keep it running and throwing, and also the option to keep. And I think he'll probably end the season with a better perspective on the game and how he's going to play moving forward. So, and that's probably going to come earlier in the year than by the end of it. So,
Old habits die hard, so we'll see how this goes.
yeah. But what are our thoughts on Keon Coleman? Not really seeing a lot. He didn't see anything last game.
I think we're going to see a lot of games like that this year. He's going to have some games where it looks like, hey, he's the wide receiver one, and there's going to be other games where it's just like, where's Keon?
Yeah.
So that's something else to watch out for. Do we have any faith in this Jaguars offense?
And the Jaguars, what?
Offense.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think Trevor Lawrence, like he's not as elite as he was thought to be, but I think he's serviceable enough that Brian Thomas Jr. is going to keep getting fed and keep making things happen for him. Gabe Davis is doing some things.
He's serviceable.
Yeah. Tank Bigsby's looking to get in on some of that work from ETN. And that's that's going to eat into his work. But as far as them working as a unit, Ingram being down, that doesn't help.
Does not.
But I mean, that's going to kind of force those big plays, primarily with Brian Thomas. So, unless you start getting those backs involved with a lot of the short passes, some RPOs maybe. But no, I mean, they can. It's just to be determined.
DVD.
Yeah.
And then this Monday, we actually have two games slated. I'm really excited for the second game, Commanders versus the Bengals. Is Joey B really back? Seems like he is. Seems like Burrow.
I'm not so much concerned about Joe Burrow as I am Jamar Chase. And T. Higgins. And who else? Because those two guys, like T. Higgins being hurt and out, which is weird because he started the season saying, "Yeah, I feel great. This is the best I've ever felt," and then he's injured, and then Jamar Chase, the whole hold in, and all that stuff, and limited looks, and yeah, I don't know if he doesn't get right on this game. This is where you are the dog meme sitting in the house on fire and saying everything is fine, but it's not.
This is definitely the game that Jamar Chase has to get right.
Yeah.
Like you just said, if not, I think that's when people really start to panic. If he has a bad game or just not a great game, I think people are going to start to sell. People are going to start to try to buy low. That's when the panic's going to actually set in.
If I was going to say, if you have Jamar Chase, are you trying to sell him before this week in hopes that the game would intrigue people to buy, or even better, don't worry about that one. If someone else has Jamar Chase, are you trying to buy low and take a chance on that?
Me personally, if I can get my hands on Chase, I'm going for it. Right. But personally, I did the same thing last year. I went for Chase. The Joey Burrow thing was going on. He was up and down. People weren't sure if he was really there. I took a chance, and it didn't necessarily work out for me. But he has a talent to where I'm gonna take that chance every time. So I know there's a lot of people that don't want to sell him now because they believe that he's gonna bounce back, and can't say that they're wrong, right? I know Higgins. It's tough because if Higgins does not play, sure, Jamar is going to see more targets, but what are the quality of those targets? Because all the attention is going to be on him.
Well,
Now,
the Higgins has been out, so he's been seeing those targets. He's done nothing with them.
Exactly.
The only other competition is Yoshi.
Yoshi, he's been decent.
Yeah, well, last week he was. The week before, not so much.
Yeah, I think that was just a bad beat for everybody.
Well, it's also his first game in the NFL. Like they counted.
Was that his first game?
Well, first regular season game.
Ah.
So again, big boys hit harder. So
right.
Preseason, that's why you gotta get your starters involved. So Bengals are notorious for starting out slow.
I was just going to say that too.
So I don't know. It might be too early. I would probably take a flyer here and there on Chase just to all right, well, if I get him at a discount, like you have people that use their number 4 or 5 pick in the draft to get Jamar Chase.
So they're not letting go for that easy.
But at this point, it's like, all right, what can I get for him because he's not doing anything?
Yeah,
so you might be able to get, you may be able to trade away, make them feel like they might be getting a deal because, like, you can give DK Metcalf for Jamar Chase. But at this point, after seeing what they're doing, why would you?
That is true.
So then you go further down the line, I'll give you a T. Higgins for Jamar Chase. But wait, no, that doesn't work either because they're both on the same team and he's hurt and he's out. And how mad are you if you picked up T. Higgins draft? Yeah. So it's just it's a mess in Cincinnati. We'll see what this week shows, and hopefully they can ride the momentum out.
Exactly. Other side of this game, Jaden Daniels, is he taking another step towards putting it all together after a little rough outing that last week?
Yeah. I think the Bengals have a serviceable defense. It's not a bad defense. You saw that beautiful one-handed interception last week.
Oh,
yeah. But I think stuff like that will just make him better.
Absolutely.
I mean, that happened to Pat Mahomes. Like,
true.
So, I mean, it could just be a very fun game as far as being able to see what he can do. But I mean, he scrambles. He can throw the ball. and you cut two really good backs in Brian Robinson Jr. and Eckler is actually still showing some true form there. So
Another guy I was calling on the offseason. I was like, Eckler did not fall off the cliff. He had a lot of factors going on. Give him a fresh start, see what happens.
yeah, I was
Legit.
Yeah, I was totally out on Eckler. I was just like, I'm done. I just don't want to deal with that injury risk anymore and stuff like that. And well, showed me.
But behind him, I picked up as much Brian Robinson and Eckler as I could this year, as many drafts as I could. So
Yeah,
I got up in a lot of leagues, and they have not disappointed.
yeah, I did with Brian Robinson Jr., but I didn't touch any Eckler. It did not interest me, but clearly it's working out for those owners.
Yes, sir. And then that wraps up our week 3 preview, man.
All
Definitely
right.
weeks, definitely some good games to look out for, and I feel like we're going to learn a lot about the landscape of the league after this week.
Yeah. Well, I think even after a week 4, but this will probably get us really kind of narrowed in on what's going on. So, yeah, and plus it's some really fun games. So, yeah, that Eagles game that's going to be
That's
fun.
going.
Well, that and the Cowboys and Ravens game too. Like, yeah. So it's
Cardinals. There's a couple of them, man. It's
yeah.
definitely some good.
I may just have to call in on Sunday.
It's just no way.
Just whatever. But all right, well, cool. Good episode. We missed Dale being here. So hopefully we'll see him next week. In fact, next week, just so everybody knows, we'll drop some stuff on social. We'll try to get some of the social media pages up and running and get that going so people can start following us everywhere other than YouTube and the podcast channels. So that way we can post some content and all that kind of stuff. But starting next week, we're going to try to start doing a live stream on YouTube Tuesdays at 10, maybe a little bit earlier. But right now we're going to aim Tuesdays at 10, also because it sounds cool and probably easy to remember. But we'll do a live stream Tuesdays at 10. It'll be our waiver wire episode. We'll do that so that we can get any last minute waiver advice from us, something to even think about, and just get ready to put in those last minute waiver wire picks. In addition to that, we'll also record our episode that will drop the following day on Wednesday, which will be essentially our upcoming week kind of forecast. So the first one, the live stream, will be basically a quick recap on the week that just happened and a last minute waiver wire insight. And then the one that we'll record right after that will air the following day. And that'll be our next week preview and any other thoughts, stuff like that. We're trying to get this thing tweaked and honed in for you guys, so that way we can have a little structure. You guys know what to expect, when to expect it, and we'll try to be active on the socials. And yeah, that's basically kind of what we're aiming for. If you guys have any suggestions, any questions, drop some comments. Let us know what's going on.
Feedback, questions, concerns, support, drop it down there in the comments, man. Just let us know. Definitely appreciate everybody that's tuning in to us.
Yep, most definitely. So that being said, we will see you next week. Tune in for the live stream at 10. Should have that up and running, ready to go. We'll try to throw some reminders out there and get those socials up. And until then, you guys take care.
JSD.
All right, boss. We'll do it again next week.
Yes, sir. Run it back.
All right.